Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be talking about specifically Andrew Yang, and I think one of the benefits for why we should be electing him, and a return to something important in politics that I recently realized when I was studying fencing, sport fencing, specifically, the sport where you wear white clothes and you have an epee or a foil or a saber, and you get points against your opponent by touching them with the point of the sword, which is blunted. That's the point of the sport. And I think that when I studied fencing, I found something really, really unique that I think is very apropos to politics, and it really points a laser beam on one of the reasons why I think Andrew Yang is just a stellar candidate and is the right candidate for now, and also points to a new era in our politics where we really got to be thinking about politics in a different way. All right, so I want to talk about fencing, and then I'm going to draw a direct line to this part of fencing which shows a fissure within our own politics which needs to be fixed. Okay, and I think Andrew Yang is a perfect fix to this fissure. All right, so let's talk about it. All right. So my daughter went off to college, and she just completed her second year of college. It's going great, and me and my wife, when my daughter was deciding what she wanted to do for college, there were lots of great colleges close to where we were at, but we didn't, when we were getting ready for college, we saw a lot of other parents encouraging their kids to stay close, make it so that they would commute, those kind of things. And one of the things we told our daughter is, just find the right school for you, find something you like. But I specifically encouraged her, and I said, when I went to college, I went to Millersville University, and it was fantastic. It was a wonderful school. It really prepared me well for the world. But when I went off, I did the traditional American college experience. I left, I graduated from high school. I went directly to college. I completed college in 4 years, and I lived in a dormitory for all 4 years. And I encouraged my daughter, I said, do this, right? And I said, the reason why is, one, if you take a gap year, which is really big, we saw a ton of parents just getting right on board the gap year train, which I didn't really understand. I said, if you take a gap year, there's a distinct possibility you will never come back from it, right? Because we had definitely seen that before with some other students. And so, I said, and then also when you go to college, really, just soak it up. There's going to be thousands of students there wherever you're going, if you go to a traditional school that has dormitories. And they do a million different things. And I think you'll find something at college that you never expected. An extracurricular, for me, it was philosophy. I actually did enough credits to get a minor in philosophy. I didn't get a minor in philosophy. It's a different story. But I fell in love with philosophy. But the thing is, I told her, if you go, especially on the extracurriculars, there's different, clubs and sports and all kinds of things you can do, and it can be really rich, robust experience, right? I wrote for the Snapper, which was the newspaper for Millersville University. It was great. I really loved that time. It was really unique, and it was a great experience. And so I encouraged my daughter to do this. She did do this. So she got into fencing, right? So she tried a lot of extracurriculars. She did plays, joined some other fun social groups, and she also joined fencing, and she absolutely fell in love with fencing. And so now she is a serious fencer. She competes regionally. She travels to probably half a dozen contests a year at least. And she's really into fencing. She has all the gear, everything, right? And she's now, I think she can compete in saber, epee, and foil, which are all three different types of sport fencing. And it's an incredibly robust, deep hobby, right? So here's the key. So basically, one day, my daughter was taking apart all of her gear just to clean it and maintain it, right? And she pulled two swords out of her gear, and one of them had one of them looked like a traditional sword, right? It had a long, shaft, and then it had a point, right? And this was an epee, and and then it had a steel handle that you would grab, right? Your hand would wrap around the handle, and then you would thrust forward, right? It looked just like a sword would have looked 300 years ago, 400 years ago, right? She pulled out another sword, and the grip was completely different, right? It didn't look like a traditional sword grip, right? And it was 3 bars of metal bent in different angles, right? It looked like a piece of modern art, and it was short, right? And it was about half the length of the traditional grip. Now, the traditional grip is called a French grip, and this really arcane, weird grip is called a pistol grip, right? And I asked my daughter, what are these? So she explained that. She said it's a French grip and a pistol grip. And I said, well, why would anybody use the pistol grip? It looks really weird. And she said, well, what happens is when you grab a pistol grip, you have more control of the weapon, and you can hit stronger points. And it's great for sports fencing because these blades are very light, and you can really move the the epee around and get a point wherever you need it to. So I did some more research, and I found that what this is the difference between a French grip and a pistol grip is a French grip harkens back to the actual traditions that fencing is based on. Fencing is based on European sword play, right? Like European sword fighting, right? It's European sword fighting, right? And essentially, when people practice, fencing, when they go about the sport of sport fencing, many of them are very, very care a lot about historical European sword fighting. They want to understand how European sword fought for centuries. They want to study the old masters, right? People who were really good at sword fighting and would pass these traditions and these bodies of knowledge down, right? Now, people in the sport fencing community, right, who care deeply about historical European sword fighting, knowing its history, knowing the people who built up the practice, knowing the people who did it best, right? They use French grips. And then there's a different group of people, right? The pistol grip people, right? These pistol grips they're specifically for sports fencing, right? You actually couldn't use a pistol grip in actual European sword fighting ever, right? And the reason why is it's not built for that. It's built for getting points, not sword fighting. It's built for the sport, not the thing that the sport is based on, not the thing that the sport was meant to honor and remember, right? And this is our politics today, right? Perfect example is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is using a pistol grip, right? He gets a lot of control at the point of his epee, right? And he can point it wherever he wants, and he can get a touch on his opponent, right? But the reality is, what Biden is doing has nothing to do with what politics was originally put up for, right? American politics, in my opinion, has 2 purposes: to unify a nation and to protect the people, right? Our politicians are supposed to pull us together and help us to build better things, to accomplish more, to live healthy lives, right? And to protect us, to make sure that no one external to this nation ever gets in the way of us being unified. Of us being unified as a nation, right? And building our nation and making it stronger, right? Now, Andrew Yang is a French grip. I think he fully understands and remembers the original purpose, right? To unify a nation, to protect a people, right? He's not using a pistol grip. He's not in this game just to win the game. He genuinely cares about the people, right? And this is a struggle because one of the things is there's 2 parts. Unfortunately, in American politics, there's 2 parts of being president. You have to win the primary and the general, and then you have to govern. And this is one of the tough parts. If you use that pistol grip, right? If you're the kind of person who uses that pistol grip, you have a really, really, really good chance of winning the political game, right? But if you're also the kind of person who uses the pistol grip and uses this weird modern, addition to what you're doing, it's a really good chance you've totally forgotten what the point of what you're doing is, right? That you don't really care. Like, in my opinion, generally a lot of people who use the pistol grip don't really care about historical European sword fighting. It's about winning the game, right? And that's the key, right? Andrew Yang didn't structure his life so that he was going to win the presidency, right? And because of that, he was with people. He built a business. He helped people. He unified people. He protected people, right? He protected their jobs, their families, those kind of things through labor, right? And I think Andrew Yang he's the French grip, man. He's remembering the source. He's remembering George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and, and John F. Kennedy, those great presidents we had who really were here to unify a nation and protect people, right? And right now, I just really feel like, a Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and I would say even Bernie Sanders, these dyed-in-the-wool Washington insiders, they are all about that pistol grip. They know how to get points, right? And this is one of the reasons why they're 10, 20, 30, 40 points ahead, right? So if we as American people leave this up to the media, right? If we leave it up, if we let the media shape this conversation and this dialogue, it's going to go to the pistol grip candidates. It really is, right? But Andrew Yang is a French grip candidate. He remembers the reason for all this politics. And he's not just now focusing on only the points, what will gain points, right? It's really tough. Like, it's tough to have your candidate have to use a French grip against a pistol grip because they're at a disadvantage. And the reality is, Andrew Yang really, without a doubt, genuinely at a disadvantage. He is really struggling in the polls, really struggling to get past this, in my opinion, very an unfair narrative that's being shaped by the media right now. And it's tough. It's really, really tough. And I'm really just hoping to see it change. But the reality is, when it comes to the reason why things are being done, I think Andrew Yang really very, very, very much has a genuine reason for doing the things that he does. And it really is about, it's about that French grip. It's about honoring the things that matter, right? It's about remembering the source of all of this. And and what he's doing really goes beyond the points, right? Just the points. Now it's tough because the reality is he is going against people with using that pistol grip, and he's going to have to do he's going to have to work way harder than these people who are using the pistol grip, because they're using modern amenities to point to draw focus to the points rather than draw focus to the source, right? They're playing the game rather than focusing on what the purpose of politics were to begin with. So I'm really I think I just wanted to share this today because I was thinking about fencing and these different grips. I realized this shows the approach that's being focused on today, and it also definitely shows this terrible problem we have in American politics where you've got to win and you've got to govern. And these two tasks are so dramatically different that it really is challenging to get them in one candidate. I think Andrew Yang can do it. I think he can overcome the advantage that these pistol grip candidates have. Even when he's using a French grip, he can do it through labor. He can do it through tactics and strategy. There's still plenty of ways to win, but we still really are at a disadvantage, and we've got to be thinking of ways to push Andrew Yang forward to get past these disadvantages. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Please let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful day.